WHGE 95.3 FM coming up. Dope and I.
Those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or ego diddling. We do so because the chains of oppression in our people's minds are deep and difficult to remove.
Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm your host, Third Eye Optometrist, Patrice Gibbs, here to get your eye open, here to get it started. You know what? As we always do, every generation has its purpose. Ours is to reveal the truth and reverse the brainwashing, and that is very much needed, especially considering what's going on. All right, I'm here to tell you what's going on so you can reverse that brainwashing. Let me get my disclaimer out the way right quick. Okay. Whoa, that's not the disclaimer.
The views and opinions expressed on Open Eye are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors, and do not reflect the policy or position of WHGE 95.3 FM, nor our sponsor, the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Any content provided by Open Eye's hosts, guests, or contributors are theirs and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, company, or individual.
All right. Let's get it started. We're going to start right here because, you know, it's something what some of us do and don't expect any consequences. The hell's wrong with you? You can't put gas on a fire and then cry when you get burned. You come messing around with the wrong people, you get that FAFO. And that's what's going to happen to you. All right? Case in point. I'm sure by now you all heard of the brother that declared he would rather sleep with a dog than a black woman. And this is a black dude. This was a black dude. I didn't bring his name and didn't really give a damn about his name. Excuse me. All right. But his white girlfriend killed him, shot him. Oh, yeah. And she kept changing her story about why she shot him. Okay. Oh, one time the gun accidentally went off. She was cleaning it accidentally. At any rate, she killed him. And finally, the police said, well, come on, let's get your story straight. Oh, it was self-defense. Okay, we'll go with that. Self-defense. So she killed him and got away with it. Mm-hmm. And he running around talking about he'd rather sleep with he'd rather sleep with a dog than a black woman. Okay? All right? And he emphasized it would have to be a white dog. You can't put gas on the fire and then cry when your ass get burned. Mm-hmm. And he mess around. And you talk about F around and find out. Boy, did he find out. Yeah. And I tell you something. He should have looked at the history of white women when dealing with black men. Or black people, period. Case in point, this was from a nurse. I found her on TikTok. She said she had a woman dying from COVID who confessed something that was really heart-wrenching to me. She told me that when she was a teenager, She told her mother that one of the local black boys had touched her behind the grocery store. And in 1936 Louisiana, this was a very big deal. Not only was this boy lynched, but he was beaten and his genitals was cut off. And then the family home was burnt to the ground. And she watched it all happen. You want to know why? Because she saw that his sisters had prettier dresses than she did. And she just didn't like it. Damn. That's why she did it. This boy was beaten, his genitals cut off, and lynched. And then his family home burned to the ground. Because his sisters had prettier dresses. She lied. She lied. And then it clicked. This same woman had been hallucinating for the past couple of days, saying that there was a black boy in her room watching her. Would not stop staring at her. And she was scared. Yeah. She asked if she could be forgiven. I told her the only person who would forgive her was the boy she killed. Not sorry. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. Say, hey, Steve, Sherry, I see y'all. All right. Right along. Okay. Yeah, believing in hell, that's pretty scary. Yeah, it is. That's pretty scary. Until you realize that believing in hell is also believing that people who didn't even know where the sun went at night knew what happened after you died. You believe, hey, man, look. How many of y'all believe that mess? How many of you believe it? They run around, go to people's houses, and they got pictures on the wall. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. Pictures of who they think is Jesus. Let me tell you something. Where your picture comes from. Between 1502 and 1503, Cesare Borgia hired Leonardo da Vinci to be an architect and engineer. And Leonardo da Vinci became intimate lovers in a homosexual relationship. They were lovers. Expressing his love for Caesar, Leonardo painted many pictures of him. Caesar's father, Rodrigo Borgia, who later became Pope Alexander VI, under the authority of the Catholic Church, had his son's picture put up as Jesus Christ in the Western world and ordered any pictures of a black Jesus destroyed. Cesare Borgia. He had sex with his own sister, Lucretia, and he killed his brother, Giovanni. And this is the man whom the Catholic Church gave their consent to allow his picture to be put up and portrayed as Jesus Christ. You know what? We must start looking at European history as the mythology that it is, and a poor copy of what's real. You learn that. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. Brother Jafar, Brother Abdul, thanks for tuning in, y'all. All right. Okay, get some PSAs in here. I'm Patrice Gibbs, your third eye optometrist. All right, got PSA here. Okay, let's see. the 9th Street Bazaar. That will be on Saturday, June 7th, right here at 9th and Pine. Come and look through our stuff, and you're sure to find a bargain. The 9th Street Bazaar, sponsored by Eastside Pride Recovery Meeting. That's Saturday, June 7th. Be there. All right, all right. Moving right along. Let me tell you something. These people are so sick. All right. This is from Sister Booker Squared, well-known influencer. And this is about Adriana Smith. Mm-hmm. Adriana Smith, unfortunately, is no longer alive. But the state of Georgia has been keeping her hooked to machines for 13 weeks to see if a dead woman can grow a baby. Damn. Yeah. Adriana Smith is a black woman who was declared brain dead in February. She has been kept on life support against her family's will because she was 9 weeks pregnant when she was first admitted to the hospital. She is now 22 weeks pregnant. The state of Georgia intends to keep her on life support until August, when they will perform a C-section to remove the baby, which has a high likelihood of not surviving. They are using a brain-dead black woman as an incubator. They are using Adriana as a lab rat to find a way to grow babies without having to worry if a woman lives or dies. Damn! What kind of people are you? To even come up with some mess like everybody in America should be disgusted and outraged, as Booker Square says, and afraid. Women are not science experiments. Adriana's family should not be on the hook for hospital bills as well as the cost of care for Adriana's living child. This is just inhumane. And Adriana may be the first, but unless we stop this attack on women's bodies, she will not be the last. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they got to pay the doctor bill. So it's been a call. Booker Square asked if you could consider donating to Adriana's family as they navigate the trauma and heartbreak that Georgia has caused them. All right? And you can donate at GoFundMe. Help Adriana's family during this heartbreaking journey. GoFundMe.com/F/help Adriana's family during this heartbreaking journey. There's some sick, sick people. And you got to understand how this is working. Because they're going to do it to white women, whether you know it or not. But first, they're going to experiment on black women. This is a historical practice. Remember the monster John Sims, called the father of gynecology, who experimented on black women without anesthesia. This is what they do. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. Patrice Gibbs, your third eye optometrist here. I want to remind you of something. They didn't steal slaves. All right? Understand it. They didn't steal slaves. And this idea that these people were living in huts and didn't have a civilization, didn't have a working society, as if they were just gatherer hunters running around in the bush or whatever. They stole scientists, doctors, architects, astronomers, teachers, entrepreneurs, fathers, mothers, sons, daughters, and enslaved them. Notice at the top of that list was scientists and doctors. Because when you go to war with another country, first thing you do is take that educated class, bring them to your country and put them to work building up your empire. They didn't steal slaves. Stole scientists, doctors, architects, teachers, and families. And that's why those that suffered through slavery and made it through, lived long enough to be or to have some semblance of freedom, turns out to be some of the most influential people in the world. Because our culture dominates the world. And it didn't just start with hip hop like a lot of people may believe. You know anything about our culture, you know our music, our style, everything influenced the world. Probably one of the most significant examples before hip hop. You go back to the 20s with jazz. Black jazz artists influenced the music all over the world. No doubt. Black performers all over the world. When Josephine Baker went to France, she became the biggest star. So you had so many of our artists migrate over to France. All right? Then we went through Jim Crow and this, that, and the other here. Okay. What if I told you integration was one of the most detrimental events to the black community? Yeah. Black entrepreneurship decreased, black unemployment increased because we were hiring our own. Black marriage decreased, single-parent homes increased. They didn't integrate us to give us equality. They integrated us because we did far better than expected without them. We know this. Now, I know a lot of people, well, it was Dr. King's fault. He wanted to integrate us. No, he wanted to open up society. Unfortunately, Dr. King was murdered before he could finish the work that he was doing. And you notice he did not, and you heard me say it many times, he was not in favor of school integration. He did not want our enemy teaching our children. You see, we have to understand what happened and why integration did so much damage to us, because we were participants in that damage. But you have to understand why. Why would we give up businesses and what have you that were so beneficial to our community? The example I always use is Negro League Baseball. A multi-million-dollar business that we gave up to get one black player in the major leagues. The Montgomery bus boycott integrated the buses in Montgomery, Alabama. But the buses in Maryland and in Georgia didn't need to be integrated. We had our own bus companies. See what happened? You got to understand what happens when you have someone under strict control, and that control is lifted from them. It's something I saw when I was in the Air Force. Young people coming from strict homes, finally given a sense of freedom. and they went buck wild. And that's what our people did. Society opened up and we ran away from each other. And of course, there were factors like what was going on with the redlining of housing. There were factors like what was going on with the destruction of our communities and our most successful economic hubs. Yeah, America cheers Eisenhower when he taxed the rich and built the interstate highway. But let us not forget that those interstate highways were built right through the black community, destroying many of our most successful economic hubs. Don't get mad at our own for integration. When society opened up, we were able to get better jobs and this, that, and the other. Okay? Now there are some integrationists that got confused and equated quality with whiteness. Stop purchasing from our own. And this was not by happenstance. And some of our people still suffer from the mentality that having something expensive. And this was a game they played on us, okay? How to get black people to shop with you. You make them feel important. You make them feel that the product that you have is something that they must have for status. And many of us still caught up in that status crap. Run around bragging about, oh, see that shirt? It's one of them $80 European design shirts that you can only get if you got my kind of money. The hell with that. You see my shirt? Nice, ain't it? Ain't a nice shirt? Yeah, I got it at the thrift store for $3. Your status is not on your back. Your status is in your mind and in your heart. Understand that. WHGE 95.3 FM. The hell with Louis Vuitton. This is the Open Eye. WHGE 95.3 FM. Patrice Gibbs, third eye optometrist here. Why is it that if you take advantage of a corporate tax break, you're a smart businessman? But if you take advantage of something so you don't go hungry, you're a moocher. That's a quote from Jon Stewart. And that's the foolishness that people voting against their own interests get caught up in. So you want the government to stop giving poor people free stuff? Funny how you don't care about the $70 billion a year that we spend on subsidizing Wall Street banks. The $38 billion in subsidies given to oil companies. The $2.1 trillion that Fortune 500 companies are stashing abroad to avoid paying U.S. taxes. Here, I had to make a goddamn tax plan, a payment plan, because I can't afford to pay the taxes that they done put on my poor ass. The $153 billion a year we spend to subsidize McDonald's and Walmart's low-wage workers. But you worried about school children getting free lunch. You'd rather see a child go hungry than tax a billionaire. Jeez Louise, what the hell is wrong with you people? And it just gets worse. Wake up. WHGE 95.3 FM. Open eye. Less than 100 days, we watching the orange disaster and just do everything you can. You know, it's something. I was talking about it with a friend of mine about who you voted for. You're crazy enough to vote for Trump because you didn't want a black woman in office. Or if you were a non-participant and voted the couch without considering, okay? And I know a lot of us, we had problems with Kamala Harris, pronounce her name right, because of her 10 years of prosecutor and attorney general in California. And we had problems with her. I'm tired of voting the lesser of two evils and what have you. You voted for Trump, look what you got. A stinky, moronic idiot. His mama told you he is an idiot. Damn, if your mama tells me not to mess with you, and I said, vote, those that voted the couch, you know, pretty much voted for Trump. Look what he's doing. This is from historian Ernest Krim III. Look that brother up, giving out some good information. On May 30th, 2025, the Trump administration announced that Job Corps, which overwhelmingly serves black youth and low-income residents, would be forced to suspend operations. This is something that y'all need to understand. You know, I told people, if he gets in office, he's coming for our neck. The administration said that it would begin a phased pause, initiating an orderly transition for students, staff, and local communities. This phased pause will occur on June 30th. Is that the day? No, it was yesterday. The administration said that it would begin a phased pause. Job Corps was established by Lyndon B. Johnson within the broader context of the Black-led Civil Rights Movement as part of the Economic Opportunity Act of 1964. In short, Job Corps is a free residential education and job training program for low-income people between 16 and 24 years of age. Be clear, phasing out or eradicating Job Corps is another blatant attack on low-income and black communities across this country, as 50% of all participants are black. All right, and I know plenty of black people that have gone to Job Corps, went through their program successfully, and went on to get gainful employment. And go on to have a successful career in whatever field they chose. Our economy, as it currently stands, is in the midst of a drastic shift as technological unemployment continues to rise at a staggering rate. Tongue tie here. The statistics are clear. Young black folks, particularly boys, between the ages of 16 and 24, have the highest unemployment rate in this country. In some communities in Chicago, that rate hovers around 50%. Excuse me. However, when this same demographic is employed, violent crime arrests, which the right so often describes as a cultural problem, a lot of goddamn nerve, violent crime arrest drops exponentially. What can we do? We have to find ways to support our youth proactively outside of responding to political chaos. Can you become a regular donor to a black-led nonprofit that needs extra support? Can you volunteer at your local school, especially if you're a black man? Are you an entrepreneur who can employ young folks in this age range? Even for part-time work, do so. Can you petition your local school board, city council, county, or state to create programs that counter this and keep our most system-impacted youth engaged, employed, and educated? Your answer to many of these questions should be yes. Let's remember that we are collectively more powerful than these sociopathic, imbecilic legislative decisions. It's from Ernest Krim. Understand, poverty breeds crime breeds violence. That's not rocket science. Brother Krim went on to say, as I have been saying since November, Harriet Tubman didn't care who the president was. She was going to free herself and her people regardless of who was in office. So let's get to work. I remember I saw a sister say, and she was asked by one of these so-called white allies how she felt about MAGA and the Orange Disasters regime determination to resegregate society. The sister told her, said, good. Because we did a lot better when we was on our own. So it's not going to go as they think. See, what they want to do is they want to bring back Jim Crow, like I've told you before. Doing everything they can to bring damage to our community, to turn back the clock in our community. We're not going to allow that. If we do separate from you and we become insular, as we were in the past, what do you think we're going to do? We're going to build up our communities. Because that's who we are. That's our resilience. All right? Our ability to take lemon and make lemonade. They throw lemon at us, we come back with lemonade. Push us on the outskirts of society. We'll make it so attractive you'll want to be part of it. Oh, you think I'm exaggerating on that? Because remember, when we were pushed to the outskirts of society before we built communities that were so attractive, they said, damn, maybe we better burn this down. Our influence was on such a high level, they had to open up. It's called fear. I don't know about you, but I ain't afraid. Don't be scared. We can do this. We can handle this. WHGE 95.3 FM, Dope and I. All right. Patrice Gibbs, third eye optometrist here. Yeah. I know by now you heard about the budget. I'm going to talk about that some more. Did I bring that? Oh, I wrote my notes on that. Come on now. Oh, yeah. Yo, why? Oh, my goodness. Okay, that's all right. Let me make sure here. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. Hold on. I got you. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. I'm sure by now you heard of the big, beautiful budget that passed the House. Okay. Hasn't passed the Senate yet. And maybe there's a good chance it won't. Understand that some of the Republicans woke up and said, damn, no, this is bad. Of course, some of them didn't. Like Johnny Ernst. Okay, Iowa Senator Johnny Ernst. Her name make a suspect right there, don't it? Sound like a goddamn Nazi. Had her hands full at a town hall meeting in Butler, Iowa. As angry constituents shouted and jeered at her as she defended the Orange Disaster's big, beautiful bill. At one point, Ernst responded to a shout from the audience that people are going to die because of the massive cuts in the reconciliation bill the House passed last week. People are going to die because of the cuts to Medicare and Medicaid, cuts to food stamps. People are going to die. You would have thought that her response to that would have been something comforting or something to steer them away from the idea that people are going to die. She didn't give a damn. The crowd booed her because her response was, well, we're all going to die. That's how cold-hearted these people are. Well, we're all going to die. Well, some of us would like to die from old age. Some of us would like to die because we got tired. It's time to go. We don't want to die from starvation, from lack of medicine, from our society being so effed up, it kills you. Well, we're all going to die. Poverty breeds crime. Crime breeds violence. Violence gets your ass killed. Well, we're all going to die. Oh, yeah, and the crowd gasped and booed her. The budget measure, which is now under consideration in the Senate, makes major cuts to Medicare, SNAP programs. The Orange Disaster regime and Republican lawmakers have said the reforms are supposed to prevent people who are in the United States illegally from receiving federal aid and root out fraud. Ernst's callous remarks came after a woman who said she had previously emailed Ernst about her concerns, argued the bill's proposed cuts were not compassionate or physically responsible. She accused the senator of supporting a tax shelter for the wealthy. For heaven's sakes, folks, Ernst said, clearly frustrated as some of the constituents refused to listen to her lousy-ass explanation. What you don't want to do is listen to me when I say that we are going to focus on those that are most vulnerable. Yes, you're going to focus on those that are most vulnerable and try to kill them off. Some of us are going to die. You know what? Her and her cold-hearted cohorts. May you roast in hell, and may the devil sodomize you with a pitchfork. Now, if this big bogus bill passes, this is to those of you that don't know what's buried in this big bogus bill, prepare yourself for what's coming. Because if the Senate passes the one big beautiful bill, as the orange idiot calls it, and Trump signs it, that's it. It becomes law. And here, what that really means. He can delay, this is what's in that bill. He can delay or cancel elections legally. You think he won't? He can ignore the Supreme Court rulings for a year or more. He can fire government workers for political disloyalty. Judges can't enforce their own orders. Protests can be tracked and criminalized like they do with black people. That's why we tell you, stay your ass home. LGBTQ plus rights, education, healthcare, and media, gutted. Your VPN, tracked. Your vote suppressed. Your speech flagged. This bill doesn't break the law, it rewrites the law so that the orange disaster never has to break it again. See, it makes the crack that he wanted to do legal. We don't need to wonder what would happen if authoritarianism came to America. It's here. It's here. In 1,100 pages, dressed up as freedom. See, they're good at word salad. If you ever said, oh, it won't be that bad, or the courts will stop him, this bill makes it so they can't. Speak up, show out. Because if this passes, the next vote might be the last one that matters. That's right. Now, let me tell you what the orange regime wants to do. He planning on, the orange idiot is planning on June 14th military parade to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army and the orange disaster's 79th birthday. Yeah, you have to wonder. Come on. You have to wonder why some of these bastards live so long. 79th birthday. And when your sense of self-exaltation requires tanks, flyovers, and up to $45 million for a birthday party, we're no longer in the realm of cake and candles. We're squarely in criterion 1, a narcissistic personality disorder, a grandiose sense of self-importance. And that's from Dr. Joycelyn Sees. He was a clinical psychologist who works with trauma and narcissistic abuse. The same patterns that destabilize families destabilize democracies. The White House has no idea what it's doing on tariffs and keeps flip-flopping. Just like that taco thing, chicken-ass Trump. Why even do an exemption if you're going to reverse it soon? Many dismiss these reversals as mere incompetence or poor strategy. And it's true that narcissism is associated with more impulsive, error-prone decision-making. But anyone familiar with the narcissistic abuse understands the deeper maneuver. Whether consciously or not, narcissists hold power by keeping others in a state of psychological whiplash, and it works. From a trauma psychologist's perspective, what can a nation do once the curtain is pulled back? First, stop enabling. Reactive efforts to clean up the damage often backfire, shielding narcissists from accountability and allowing them to retain influence. All right? Stop enabling them. Stop with that crap of trying to reach across the aisle and work with these suckers. There's no compromise in mental illness and stupidity. There's no compromise when someone has declared war on you. Understand this, they have declared war on the black community and all other people of lower income. If you're not a rich white male, they have every intention of doing you damage. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. You know what? If you can still defend the Oranges Act after watching him try to erase black history, defund education, cut cancer research for children, destroy diversity, equity, and inclusion, bully colleges and universities that refuse to capitulate to his racist agenda, deport people with a legal right to be in the country, defy the Supreme Court, and publicly state that he has no obligation to uphold the Constitution, you're not just misinformed, you're morally bankrupt. This administration is sick. And if you're still sitting at that table 100 days in, you're just as sick as the people carving up the country. Just as sick. Moving right along. Let's see, we're going to go here. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I did that. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to go with this here. All right. The United States government, this is from Ally, a white cat that is taking a good look. I'm sorry, I forgot his name. I'm bad with names. I'll let you know who he is at a later date. At any rate, the United States government didn't stop killing black leaders because they had some moral awakening. They stopped because they didn't need to assassinate them anymore. See, once they wiped out the radicals, the Malcolms and the Martins and Fred Hampton, all of them, the revolution got cut off at the knees. After that, why waste? Why waste bullets when you can just kill the movement before it even starts? By the 80s, they swapped out black power for black profit. They handed out a few golden tickets and made sure there were just enough rich and famous black faces that sell the idea that the system works. Instead of liberation, they handed out contracts and endorsements, executive positions instead of power. They gave black excellence. Ain't nobody saying black folks shouldn't be successful, but success inside the system is not the same as dismantling the system. Yeah, that's why they killed Dr. King. They could see him on the fast track to dismantling the system. Oh yeah, they let her through things through the gate just as long as they play by the rules. A few people through the gate. And those rules are stay in line, talk about personal success, not collective struggle. Build a brand, not a movement. Then they don't got to assassinate anyone. Especially when they can just buy them out, or better yet, turn them into a joke. Look what they did to Colin Kaepernick. And he stood up for something. Got blackmailed out of the football league. Angela Davis spent decades on the FBI watch list. And of course, Fred Hampton, they learned their lesson from him. Don't let him get big enough to matter in the first place. Put a bullet in his head. So now they just lock him up before they can get too loud. Call them terrorists. Call them extremists. Turn them into a headline, a mugshot, a social media circus. And for the rest, they dangle the American dream in front of them. Like a carrot. Work hard, climb the ladder, keep your head down. That's right. Keep your head down. Then don't you dare do anything to build up the black community. We will take you down for that. And you ever notice how a lot of our people, they do things for black people out of the country? You see anyone building black schools here in the country? I've seen several celebrities go overseas and build schools in Africa. What have you? Someone want to go there and build churches. They don't need no damn churches. They need jobs, entrepreneurship. This is what we need here. So if you achieve a level of success, okay, you achieve a level of success, they're going to remind you. Damon Wayans, he explained it to us. They're going to remind you of that fat check, them contracts and what have you. And they're going to get you in public and get you on the news and stick that mic in your face and say, is there racism in America? And with your successful black ass, you're going to stand right up there and say, if it is, I ain't seen it. Many of us are not ready for revolution or for dismantling the system. We just want a comfortable place within the system. And that's going to be your downfall. WHGE 95.3 FM. The Open Eye. All right. Hey, don't forget, The Open Eye is not the only show on WHGE 95.3 FM. The day at 3, got the Wilmington Renaissance coming on. That's with Ghetto Songbird, Samantha Hollins. Then my main man, Alan Lawrence, reviewing the week with Alan Lawrence. And of course, our illustrious leader, Dr. Harmon R. Carey. All right. Coming on his 6 as he says, with Black History Facts and Reflections. Hey, thank you for joining us on The Open Eye. I hope you learned something, because I learned something before I got here. That's word. And remember, keep your eye on Africa. And don't be afraid. Don't be scared. We can do this. We can move forward. And as I give you my weekly closeout, give you the whole thing. And sometimes you got to clear away the clutter, because a glass that is full cannot hold more water. It must be empty first. And remember, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority that treat you as an option. This has been The Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm Patrice Gibbs. All right. Thanks for joining us. Like I always tell you, global African supremacy. Ibrahim Touré of Burkina Faso is leading the way. He's showing us how. Africa is following, especially their youth. Okay? Global African supremacy is here. Patrice Gibbs. Peace.